I wipe off my makeup, right? But under this makeup is still black skin. I wipe this makeup off and I'm still me. You wiped off your makeup and you were a white man with all white man privileges. Everything about this is wrong. Like, everything about this was Yes, you definitely read that right. And no, I'm not making this up. And just to prove that, I am going to have this screenshot just so that you guys can read exactly what I am reading. Yeah, that is where we find ourselves today. And I find it so spectacular that I saw this really just after I made my video on diversifying our bookshelves and basically the problem with book talk, booktube, and the literature industry, and how racism is really just everywhere that you can think of. And then this happens. Guys, oh, so much to say. So much to say. But before we really get into it, the one thing I have to say before we go further in this video is thank you so much, guys. I absolutely love you. And I definitely needed to say this because after seeing like all the interaction, all the love, and all the comments in the past videos, I haven't gone through all of them, but I was just so like kind of overwhelmed. Like, not just that video, but my review video of To Gaze Upon Wicked Gods. Like, the comments were great. And honestly, you guys are honestly just great to interact with. And I was like sitting in my bed and going, these people really don't know how much, like, you know, these comments mean to me and how much I appreciate them. And then I had to call my own self out, and I'm like, Shelly, that's not their fault. Like any other relationship, there must be communication, you know? I can't just assume that you guys know how I'm feeling about you guys if I don't communicate that. And yes, we are in a relationship, guys. Like, even though it's a parasocial one, but we are in one. And so I'm like, you know what, before I make another video, whatever that video is going to be, I have to let them know I love them so much. So I love you guys so much. For all of you who are new and this is your very first video from me, or you know, you've seen videos and you've not subscribed, then regardless, hello, this is our channel. This is me, Shelly, and this is what we do over here. We love, we enjoy, and yeah, welcome to the fab if you're joining. But love, you know, love shared. Let's get back to the topic at hand today, which is something that I don't even want to really go into because I don't think things like this should still be happening. Okay, you guys know how it goes. You guys know, like, I get really passionate and then I basically do not know how to use English. So we're going to really try and pace ourselves so that we can articulate exactly how we're feeling. We're probably going to fail, but we're going to do it anyway. I don't know why I'm saying we, but it is what it is. So this journalist, he decided, and this is a Canadian journalist, by the way, so this is very interesting. This white Canadian journalist, very important that I mentioned the race, decided that he would put on blackface and obviously roam around America in blackface so that he could better understand the experiences of Black Americans. There is so much to unpack here, and I really just have to unpack it very honestly, which means I will probably unpack it emotionally. Because while I have sat down with this tweet, looked at, you know, the book and really had to think about it, I'm just like, I don't even want to give a logical video. I don't want to give a thoroughly researched video. No, I want to be emotional. And honestly, that's exactly what I'm going to do. Okay? So, you know what, guys? This isn't one of those, like, thoroughly researched videos like the romantasy one. Nah, we're just going to be emotional. And as a Black person, I have some say in this. As I am not a Black American, I do not have the complete say in this. But I'm going to give a bit of input from my standpoint as a Black person, you know, who have had Black experiences. First and foremost, are we still doing blackface and trying to justify it? Really? In 2024, you thought it was okay to not only have done blackface, but to boldly and proudly say, I've done it? Are you well? This man really stood up and said with chest, I went out there pretending to be a black person, you know? For Bants. And you know what? It is for Bant. It's for Banta. Because you can't tell me, oh, no. It was for research purposes, because in his blurb, he goes on to say, you know what? This was critical in the civil rights movement. Sir. 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 You know what? We've established that there were several issues with the civil rights movement. One of them being that. Because a few white men put on blackface, went into spaces as black people, and then it helped the wider public empathize with black people. See, this is a problem. Why do you need to put on blackface to empathize with us? Why can't you hear our experiences from our mouths and believe us? You know, this is a problem. This is why you have black women like literally dying in pregnancy. This is why you have people going to hospitals and dying, because their pain isn't being taken seriously, because you guys can't take our words, our emotions, our feelings at face value. We can't tell you that we're in pain and you believe that we're just genuinely in pain. You have to say, oh, you know what, you're exaggerating, or you guys have a higher pain tolerance, or you know what, you're used to this and you're used to that. You can't just hear us say, this has happened to me. This is how it made me feel. This is how it impacted me. This is why it's bad. You can't just hear us say that and believe it, because our word isn't worth anything to you guys. Our word doesn't have value. And that's the biggest issue I took with this. Instead of, you know what, if you wanted to understand the black experience of black Americans, how about you have interviewed them? How about you have a conversation with them? How about you see them as humans worthy of your time? How about you see their opinions, their own experiences as valuable? Because you literally, white people, now I'm not saying all white people, but historically, white people have literally come and taken over so many things from black people. And even your experience as a black person, you know, your painful experience as a black person, you cannot have to yourself. You know, so many white people have literally colonized and stolen so many things, and now even your experiences, even though those experiences are bad a lot of the time, you cannot have to yourself. They want to now come and claim this as well. This is one of my major problems with it. One, the fact that we really can't have anything in these streets. We cannot have anything. Like, not even our painful experiences we cannot have. And two, the fact that our word is not worth anything to these people, you know? They don't value it, because in his head, he really thought he was doing something revolutionary. He thought, you know what? I get to walk a mile in your shoes. That's not what we wanted you to do when we said that. That's not what we wanted you to do. You know, he's going out, he's just like, oh my goodness, they're really gonna appreciate me because I got to suffer just like them. I got to suffer alongside them. And I kind of feel like it makes a mockery of the experiences of black people in America, black people who are suffering. Because you know what, sir? You put on that blackface and you got to suffer for what, you know, a few days, a few weeks. I do not care how long you did it. But you went home and you wiped that thing off. Meanwhile, black people, you know what? I have makeup on, right? I have makeup on right now. You know, gotta slay at all times. I wipe off my makeup, right? But under this makeup is still black skin, like beautiful black skin that I absolutely adore. I absolutely love. I wiped this makeup off and I'm still me. You wiped off your makeup and you were a white man with all white man privileges. I absolutely, everything about this is wrong. Like, everything about this was wrong. And he really did this proudly and boldly, just like he really saw that this would have made a guys, it is horrible. It is absolutely horrible. And you know what? Considering that there has been blackface done for the purpose that he was doing it, why did you need to do it again? Obviously, yes, you know, the struggles that black people, and since you wanted to do black Americans, specifically black Americans, are, you know, not a bit, but yeah, very, very different to those in the past, because so many changes have been made. So obviously that. But the actual foundations of the problems are still there, and that's racism. White people not seeing us as people, white people not respecting our, you know, our voices, white people not respecting our lives and our right to live like any other human. You know what? You can address it without trying to put on our life. Like it doesn't work because you experienced it for a few weeks. That's great. So what? Because you want to know what's so funny? I haven't read the thing. I really should have put that. I should have prefaced the video with that, but I'm not gonna read it. I'm so sorry. I'm not gonna give you a dime of my hard-earned money so that you can once again continue to make a mockery of what Black people go through in America. And I will remind you, I am not a Black American. I'm Black, so obviously I go through my own experiences where I live, but it will be completely different to what Black Americans face. But to some level we understand each other, because to some level we're kind of living the same lives no matter where we go. No matter where we go. And I cannot fathom like a Black American seeing this. I don't know what you guys, if you are a Black American, what this would, because it doesn't process in my mind that he came up with the idea. He ran it through, friends, families, other people in his industry, and thought it was a good idea. And maybe they would have told him it was a bad idea, and he went through with it. But beyond that, he found an agent, he found an editor, he found a publisher, and for this moment now that that moment that he's captured, it was ranking so high. So after you have stolen the experience of real Black people, you now get to speak on their actual lived experience and actually gain success from an experience that is not yours and that you do not have a right to take over. Guys, for those of you who haven't seen my last video, please go and take a watch. I really just speak about how, like, in book talk, booktube, and just the literature industry, it is not diverse enough. Like, people of color, not just Black people, but people of color are not being given their fair shot at actually succeeding. And so when you don't see books by people of color, it's not because people of color aren't writing. It's just because they're not being given a chance. And even when they are given a chance, they're not supported in the way that their white counterparts are. And that was just like me speaking on, the literature industry and, books on social media and how people interact with books on social media, and obviously creators and how they interact with books on social media. So that's really just a small area of race that we can address. This specifically, it is related to books because he published, and he's finding success, from that snippet that I saw. He's, already finding a bit of success in literature as a white man masquerading as a Black man, openly masquerading as a Black man. But see, if a Black author were to publish anything about his experiences as a Black person, how much do you want to bet that it wouldn't be number one, or it wouldn't be ranking in the way that this author is? How much do you want to bet? We don't have to bet, because this is a white man and he's ranking, and I'm pretty sure that Black authors have written so much about this topic, and they haven't. It's disgusting. It's absolutely disgusting. And you want to know another part of this, which is like, it's just like something that came to mind when I was really kind of deeping what the hell I was seeing, is the fact that he's Canadian, right? Sir, don't you guys have your own problems, like historically and currently, when it comes to race? Don't you want to research that? Like, part of me was just like, it's not just that, you have, assumed a Black identity that is not yours to assume. It's also the fact that you're now trying to, and it's not to say that people of other cultures, people of other nationalities can't like speak on race problems, race relations, and all of that. But I was just sat here like, if you're going to, steal an identity, steal the Black identity and write about the problems regarding that. Don't you want to do that in your country first? I'm like, people, not to say that Canada is, moving mad, but we're not going to pretend that Canada doesn't have issues of its own, okay? Okay? Because let's be real, those residential schools, we have not forgotten, okay? And we won't forget. You guys, try to brush it under the rug, try to pretend that Canada is all perfect and dandy. And once again, I'm not here to bash Canada because I know Canadians and they're lovely people. We're not going to pretend that you guys don't also have a marred history. So if you really wanted to address, how about you start at home first? Why did you have to go all the way to America to masquerade as a black person? It really it seemed disingenuous because it seemed like he sees the, how race is really just a really, really big issue right now, especially with everything going on. And he decided to make a quick buck. That's what it seems like to me. He's just like, you know what? Because it isn't focused in Canada as much, I need to go somewhere where, there is a focus on it, where I can really, really see some success. That's what it seems like to me. It doesn't seem like he wanted to actually make a change or really bring any actual notice to this, because if anything, this is going to bring controversy. Like, are people really going to talk about whatever he was discussing in his book? Once again, I'm not reading that book. Are people really going to discuss it? Are people really going to discuss it in like the way it should be discussed, the issue, not his book? I highly doubt it. People are going to be focused on the fact that he is a white man in blackface parading around the streets of America. That is what we're going to be focusing on. And it's hilarious. It's absolutely hilarious because I sat there and I'm just going, so he heard walk a mile in our shoes. And he said, okay, blackface. That's the way to do it. That's the way. And I'm just like, really? Really? Of all the things that you could have done, you jumped to blackface? God. You know, I really, like I said, guys, I said at the beginning, like, this is more of an emotional rant because I don't have I don't have the energy to give to this man in researching all of what he did. Cause I feel like there's definitely a history with this man for him to have jumped here. Like, you can't have go from zero to this because really that would make it worse. I feel like there's probably gonna be a history of him moving a bit mad because absolutely not. Absolutely not. It is really, really disgusting that something like this will happen in 2024. But at the same time, with the amount of disgusting things happening in 2024, I really shouldn't be surprised. But it just, once again, I have to see the most horrendous things happening in an industry that I love, because obviously this is, books. I love books. So the literature industry will have my heart because I love books, because it's introduced me to a whole form of release and a whole form of expression that is so perfect to who I am. And books will always be that. So the literature industry will always be beloved to me. But to see the cracks and the flaws in the literature industry will always kind of mar my experience, because I can't pretend that they're not there. As much as people will like to just turn around and just read, I can't. I can't, because these cracks are issues which are affecting people, and it's fun, and I can not be affected sometimes because I'm not going to pretend like I am facing, you know, racism, in everything that I do. Like, I have good experiences. Most of my life is great. I don't experience racism, with every breath that I take. I don't. But at the same time, I kind of do, because I love books. I interact with books almost like every chance that I can. And the literature industry itself is what affected by racism. And so anytime I interact with books, I can't not think about how the industry, the wider industry itself, has been affected by racism. And that's unfortunate. But because of that, I will I will commit, I will continue committing to making sure that what is being done is being known. So this right here, I'm going to make sure that you guys know about it. And if you really don't see a problem with this, then you're part of the problem. You're really part of the problem. Because truly, what would have been wrong with just asking us, well, I can't say me, but asking Black Americans about their experiences in America and having people read that? And if your response is, well, people, it won't have as much of an impact on people, then that's the issue. Because why will someone telling you that their race is the reason they didn't get a job, their race is the reason they weren't allowed in somewhere, their race is the reason that someone cussed them out, their race is the reason that they were physically hurt, abused? Why is someone telling you that not enough? Like, why? Why? Because at that point, you have to check yourself. You have to really, really check your heart, because the problem is not them. The problem is you. Because just their words should be enough. And it is. Just because you don't see it as enough does not mean that it isn't. You need to check yourself. You are the problem here, not them. And that is a fact. And so him doing this did not help any cause. I'm so sorry. It didn't. Because I remember there was I can't remember exactly what this was. I can't remember if this was um a small study or a show or whatnot. And I can't even remember the name of the researcher who was conducting it, but I feel like a lot of people might have seen the video. If I do, I'll try to like put it in the description. Um, but it was obviously a talk on race relations, and there were obviously white people in the crowd and Black people in the crowd, and this was from a while ago as well. And they obviously, the white people had a lot to say, and obviously they'll have strong opinions. And because it was a while ago, racism was definitely a bit stronger out there. Like, it was it was overt before it was quieted down. It's overt now again, but this was the overtness before the quietness. um and they were making all of these statements, the white people, about like, oh, I don't see color, I don't treat anyone any differently, it is what it is. But then they were asked, if you were treated if you were to be treated, like, how many of you guys would want to be treated the way that Black people are treated in this country? And the way that not a single person raised their hands. But you guys back, a few minutes ago were saying that, oh, we don't have a race problem in this country. Oh, I don't treat anyone differently. So why would you not want to be treated like them if you don't treat them differently? Hmm? Hmm? In the same way that there was a small video, and I think it was just, I don't know if it was from a show or a movie, a social experiment. I see a lot of clips everywhere, guys, and it's really, really funny. You can really kind of tell kind of how like my kind of things are shaped. I get book content, travel content on, race relations, just a lot. But a bunch of, kids about to run a race. You had the Black kids, you had the white kids, and they were just showing how they're just like, oh, if this has happened to you, move forward, move forward, move forward. Or if this has happened to you, move back, move back. And the experiences of Black people and the experiences of white people were clearly different. And these were just like your day-to-day things happening to you. And then they were just like, okay, and this is where you will start the race. And they were just like, you see, this is where a lot of Black people have to start from normally, whereas you guys would normally be in front. That is kind of the best way to explain the standard, even in literature. Black people, this is the starting line, and Black people start here. Not just Black people, but people of color start here. Whereas their white counterparts, they start here. And so when the race begins, sure, we can be quick, because Black people and a lot of people of color, we've been told you have to be twice as good to get even a crumb of what they have. So twice as good is going to school to study, collecting as many degrees as you can, working as hard as you can, being better than everyone. So you can be faster than these people. But because you're starting here, you chances are you will probably still come in second place or third or fourth. The chances of you coming first with them who already are in front of you is very, very slim. And it's only the slim chance of you being extremely, extremely fast. And you know what? That's great that you're extremely fast. That's great that you were given extra opportunities, or that you're just incredibly gifted and your gift cannot be denied. That's absolutely great. And we see that a lot in people of color's lives. We see that and we love that. But the point of the matter is, like, the fact of the matter is, they shouldn't have to be. They shouldn't have to be. You shouldn't have to have done 3 times the work that your white counterpart did to be in the same position as your white counterpart. And the fact, if you are better, smarter, more gifted, more talented, God bless you, you shouldn't be in the same position as your white counterpart. You should be ahead. I'm so sorry. Because if you're better, you are meant to be ahead. You're better. I'm sorry. It's just true. And I won't even phase with it. You know what? If someone is like a better writer, I expect you to have a book deal that is soaring. I expect it to be in the millions. I expect you to have way, way, way higher numbers than anyone in the market. White, black, I don't care. I do not care. But the fact of the matter is, a white person is more likely to get a high book deal than a person of color, regardless of the quality of that writing. And it's just not fair. It's absolutely not fair. I know. We've kind of gone on a tangent, but it all is related. This idiot of a man decided that he was going to put on blackface. And he did it because, let's be real, he knew he could. And he knew where it would get him because of the position in life that he's in. He is a mediocre white man. He is a mediocre white man. And that is going to get him far, unfortunately. But you know what? There's always the power of social media. We've shown before that, you know what, mess around and find out. And so, how about we show him that this was a mess up and he should find out. I hope that no one supports this book. I hope that everyone knows, that everyone who knows about this shows him that he messed up big time. Don't buy the book. I don't care if you want to buy the book to review it. You know what? No. I never recommend anyone review a book without buying it. I feel like that's so, disingenuous and dishonest. So don't do that. Don't review it because you haven't read it. But you know what? Tweet at him. Do whatever you can. Make some noise. But don't support this man. I'm so sorry. This was a really, really ridiculous thing that this man did. And we shouldn't support it at all. Or anything like it. Anyone doing this, please, you're not going to get my coins at all. And you don't deserve them. You don't deserve mine. You don't deserve the coins of anyone else. And that's it. So that's all I really have to say to this. Like, I probably have more to say. I probably do have more to say. Yeah. But I'm gonna stop here because I'm drained. This is stupid. Like, this entire situation is ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. But we're gonna stop here. I cannot believe that I really had to make this video. Of all the wild things that have been happening, we had review bombing and we had a few other scandals. We had someone masquerading as a Latin character for years. And now we have this. Yeah, a lot going on. But that's it for today, guys. I hope that, like me, you are outraged. You know what? And I hope that he finds no success. I really do. But let's see what happens. We know how this world works. But let's track this, guys. Let's see what happens. Let's hope for the best. And in his case, the worst. Until next time, you guys know what it is. My name is Shelly, and I hope to see you guys soon. Bye, guys.